Hey guys, by now you all should have received the feedback I gave on the field of practice paper. I went through all the papers and given some pretty detailed feedback on the writing, APA style, things of that nature. There are a couple reoccurring themes I wanted to take a few minutes to go over that I think will help you improve in the future if moving forward if you take some of this advice. One big item I'd like to address is APA format. And one of the most significant things is the quality of sources that you use. Now, with APA format, well, with any really kind of research type paper you're doing, you should always try to use the most accurate and reliable sources that you can find, meaning that typically those are academic journals, peer-reviewed academic journals. We have access to a lot of those academic journals through our library website, and I'll give you guys some information on that in the announcement on how to log in if you're not sure on how to use that. There's some pretty detailed information on the Concord website on how to get in there. You log in with your username and password that you use to log into Blackboard, so it's the same one, and you can get in there and use those services to find academic journal or related articles. A lot of times other sources may include governmental websites, professional associations like the National Association of Social Workers. Other sites might include, respected journalism outlets like the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post or things of that nature. Stay away from random websites when you Google. If you're not sure exactly what the organization is or their reputation, it's probably not a reliable source. If you use just psychology.com that just came up when you did a Google search, that's not necessarily reliable information. And a lot of times it's inaccurate. And I think some of you may have ran into that in your papers. Also, be sure to be aware of those. Also, number one source that is usually not accurate is Wikipedia. That is not a reliable source to use in your paper. So just beware of those kind of sources because they take away from the integrity of your paper and your message and what you're saying because you don't have reliable information to back up the information provided. Okay, so be aware of that. Also, if you don't have an APA manual, I would highly encourage you to get one. You can get them in the bookstore for about, $20-30 online anywhere. I think I looked today. They're about $20-25 just at Barnes & Noble, wherever. It's the APA Manual 6th edition is the newest one. And there's even sample papers in there. It shows you the full layout from title page all the way to reference page, in-text citation, all that. I encourage you, please get one. It will help you as you move through the classes. In-text citations seem to be a little bit of a confusion about that. Your in-text citation should be right with the item that you're saying, you are citing. So you don't necessarily have to wait till the end of the paragraph. You can put it right after the sentence which you're using the citation for. You can never cite too much. A lot of people say, well, it kind of junks up my paper and you see a lot of citations. That's fine. If you think you're citing too much, you're probably doing it right. So be sure to put those citations where they belong. Also, typically it's author, comma, year. Okay. Sometimes if there's not an author, in particular if it's from an organization, you'll put the organization name and then the year, comma, year. And be sure in your references that you have all that information. Author, if there is one, your year, the name of your article, and then the retrieved from blah blah blah, or the DOI number if it's a professional journal article, and that's available. So be sure brush up on that in that APA manual because there's an example of every single kind of APA citation that you could ever want. Okay, including the interview, the citation for the interview. That was a little bit tricky. There's no reference for it in your reference page at the end, but there is an in-text citation that you were to put in. So just keep that in mind for future, if that comes up in the future, and also please invest in that APA manual. And part of the assignment for the field of practice paper was for you all to learn more about another field of practice. And I hope it was beneficial to you guys to talk to another social worker and learn more about that particular field. And I hope a lot of you took the opportunity to do your assignment in a field you're not working in, because you can learn a lot that way. And part of the paper was to do a literature review of that field and that focus in social work. And you guys had some great information on history and things of that nature. One thing to keep in mind, and this is one of the best pieces of advice that I got when I was an MSW student myself, was when you're doing a literature review, think of it as a funnel or an upside down triangle. So, kind of looking at it like this. Okay, so in that upside down triangle, at the top, the widest part is the most wide breadth of information that you're going to have. So this is the overall broad topic. So in this case, for this paper, your overall broad topic was social work, history, how we came to be, the overall premise of what was happening. And then you narrow it down, just like in the final, it narrows that down. You narrow down into your more specific content. So in your classes, when you're working on literature reviews, it helps to start with that frame of mind, because I always had trouble organizing my literature review because you have so much information. Well, how do you organize it? Well, that's an easy way to remember how to organize it, is go from your widest, most broad topics down to your specific and what you're talking about, okay? So hopefully that's a little bit of helpful piece of advice moving forward. I hope that the amount of information I gave you guys and feedback will help you improve your APA style and overall writing styles. This is you guys are just getting started with the program or with these classes, so hang in there. It's a process, and before you know it, you guys are going to be great at it, and you'll move forward. In the meantime, if I can answer questions for you, please let me know. I'll be happy to. Also, if you didn't utilize Smart Thinking in this paper, if you have the opportunity to do that on future assignments, I encourage you to do that. Smart Thinking you can submit and they get back to you in about a day or so. You can pick what you want them to look at. If you want them just to look at your APA format, you can have them do that. If you want them to look at your grammar and your structure, they'll look at that. If you want to look at it for content, they'll look at that also. So you just tell them what you want them to address, and they'll look at it and give you feedback, so you can get some feedback ahead of time. If you're struggling, send it to me. I'll give you some feedback, and just give me enough time before the assignments due. But definitely, I'll try to help you any way I can. So if you have any questions about APA format or any of the feedback I gave on the assignment, please feel free to reach out. Let me know, and we can have a conversation, and hopefully I can clarify some things for you. So just wanted to give you guys that information as you move forward. I hope it will help you improve in some of the APA issues that you might be encountering. So you guys have a great rest of the week. Take care.